Previously on Nerdporial's Ocarina of Time Retrospective. Brian, the Nerdporial lifeform, goes through his initial experiences with Ocarina of Time, talks about the development of the game, and begins discussing the game itself, starting from the very beginning, going through all of Link's adventures as a child. From collecting the 3 spiritual stones, to meeting giant owls who are annoying, to making new friends along the way. However, Link pulls the Master Sword from the pedestal in the Temple of Time, he ends up vanishing from time itself. With Ganondorf attaining the Triforce, does that mean the world has turned to complete crap? Will Link ever return? What happened to all of his friends in the meantime? Can Link rectify his mistakes and restore Hyrule to its former glory? And now, the continuation. A voice calls out to Link, awakening him, calling him the Chosen One. We see his point of view as he is in a strange bluish echoey chamber with choir and song. And spots an old man in a robe. He is Rauru, one of the sages, another town in Zelda 2. Eons ago, Rauru and the other sages built the Temple of Time to protect the entrance to the Sacred Realm. Link learns he is in the Chamber of Sages, inside the Temple of Light, in the heart of the Sacred Realm, making me think of the Pyramid of Power in the Dark World in A Link to the Past. The Temple of Light is the last stronghold against Ganondorf's evil forces. The Master Sword, Evil's Bane, pulled from the pedestal of time, was the final key to the Sacred Realm. Link is alarmed at first, but looks at himself and realizes he's different. He's big now. He grew up. The Master Sword is a sacred blade that no one wicked may ever touch, reinforcing Ganondorf's claim that it was all thanks to Link that he got access to the Triforce. The fact that Link was able to pull the sword from the pedestal of time makes him worthy of the title of Hero of Time. However, he was too young to be the Hero of Time, so the Master Sword sealed him in the Temple of Light for 7 years. Now, he is old enough to be awakened as the Hero of Time. Even though Link opened the door of time in the name of peace, Ganondorf used that opportunity to obtain the Triforce from the Temple of Light and became the King of Evil as a result. His newly tested wicked power radiated from the temples of Hyrule and transformed Hyrule into a world of fear in the short time Link was sealed away. Rauru alone has little power and influence, even in the Sacred Realm, but there is still hope. The power of the sages remaineth. The power of all the sages needs to be awakened to allow the sages' seals to contain all the evil power in the void of the Sacred Realm. Link fighting together with the sages is another factor that supports him being the Hero of Time. Rauru tells Link to find the power of the other sages and add their might to his own. Rauru raises his hands. Something comes down to Link. Medallion of Light. Rauru adds his strength to his. Link departs the Sacred Realm. Link is transported back to the Temple of Time. Looks around. Have 7 years truly passed? Navi tells Link that he won't be able to use some of the weapons he found as a kid anymore. Link attempts to leave, but senses a presence. A person whose face is mostly covered has been waiting for him, calling him Hero of Time. This mysterious figure tells Link that when evil rules all, a call will come to people destined to be sages who dwell in the 5 temples. The temples are scattered throughout Hyrule. One is located in the deep forest. One's on a high mountain. One is under a vast lake. One is inside the House of the Dead, and one is inside the Goddess of the Sand. Together, the hero and the sages will bind the evil and return the light of peace to Hyrule. We just heard the legend of the temples passed down by the Sheik. This mysterious figure introduces himself as Sheik, survivor of the Sheikas, and tells Link, with the Master Sword in hand, that he is truly the Hero of Time, and must go to the temples if there is to be any peace in their time. The first temple is the Forest Temple, whose sage is a girl Link likely knows, but because of the evil power in the temple, she cannot hear the call from the Sacred Realm. Link does not even have the means to enter the temple yet, so he is tasked with going to Kakariko village to find out what that skill is. Link departs the Temple of Time. Link steps outside and sees that the world has completely changed. Link feels a haunting wind, sees dark skies with Death Mountain having a fiery demonic halo. The castle town is completely gone, its ruins inhabited by the soul-sucking Redeads. When I first played Ocarina of Time, I was shocked by the major change to the world and even more invested in the game as a result. But I did not have the Sun Song yet at this point in the game, so this was my first encounter with the Redeads, and boy, it scared the living crap out of me. From the screams to them jumping on Link, sucking his health away, making me feel helpless. Link also discovers that Hyrule Castle is long gone, and all that remains in its stead is Ganon's castle, resting on a floating island above a pool of lava and inaccessible. Link departs the castle town, crosses the broken drawbridge, but decides before going to Kakariko to check up on Talon and Malon and Epona at Lon Lon Ranch. Link arrives at Lon Lon Ranch and meets a grown-up Malon who is working in the shed. She's excited to see a visitor for the first time in a long time and doesn't recognize Link. She explains that since Ganondorf came, people in Castletown fled. Places have been left in ruins and monsters are everywhere, terrorizing innocent people. We learn that Ingo, the ranch hand that resembles some unfamiliar green plumber, is in charge of the ranch and wants to curry favor with Ganondorf. She thinks everyone is turning evil due to this current state of affairs. Her father, Talon, was kicked out by Ingo and reveals that if she does not behave, Ingo will take his anger out on the horses, so she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Link goes outside to the paddock, this time gated off with Ingo himself standing in front of it. Ingo tells Link about the rumors going around about him cheating Talon out of the ranch, but he claims none of it is true. He took over because Talon was weak and lazy, whereas the hard-working Ingo put so much work into the ranch that the great Ganondorf took notice and gave it to him. He plans to raise and offer a fine horse to win further recognition and takes offense to being slandered. He offers Link a chance to ride the horses for 10 rupees. Link goes in and plays Epona's song, summoning the reddish-white maned horse to him. He rides her around the paddock, jumping the fences and getting the feel of riding down. Ingo notices Link's riding and challenges him to a race around the corral, wagering 50 rupees. They race with Ingo getting a head start. Link makes use of the carrots to accelerate Epona and wins the race. Ingo is beside himself, worried if Ganondorf ever got wind of the race. Well, he decides to wager another race, allowing Link to keep Epona if he wins. They race again. Ingo uses the same tactics, but Link prevails yet again. Ingo is totally flabbergasted, wondering how Link managed to tame Epona and beat him in both races. Ingo delivers on his promise to allow Link to keep Epona, but locks him in the ranch, never allowing him to leave. Link has Epona jump over the fence, leading back in Hyrule Field. Now free to ride anywhere at any time. Link now proceeds to Kakariko to begin his journey to save the world. Link enters Kakariko village, and it has changed. A lot of people from Hyrule Town are now living here, and that house the carpenters were building 7 years ago is now complete and is a targeting range. Link learns that Dampy the Gravedigger has passed away and decides to go into his hut and read his diary. The diary states that whoever is reading this, that they go enter his grave and obtain his stretching and shrinking keepsake and awaits. Link finds a unique grave with flowers, pulls it to reveal a pit leading underground. Link hops in and finds himself in an ancient subterranean chamber with the spirit of Dampy floating in front of him. Dampy's spirit challenges him to a race and dares Link to follow him. The race commences with Dampy throwing flames down to obstruct Link and to make sure you get to the doors before they close off. Continue following him through corridors, a rock chamber, an ancient pillar room, and going up a spiral path to reach the final door. Dampy, impressed, bestows upon Link his treasure. The the legendary hookshot in its second Zelda appearance. The hookshot will give Link access to unreachable places. Link leaves Dampé and goes into a room with 2 blocks resembling the Door of Time. Link plays the Song of Time to make them vanish. He proceeds up the path finds himself in the Kakariko windmill and obtains a piece of heart in the process. He talks to an angry phonogram guy and learns that a mean Ocarina kid 7 years ago played a strange tune that messed up the windmill. He demonstrates the strange song for Link to learn that turns out to be the Song of Storms. Link departs the windmill and the village altogether with a longing to return to the forest and home. He returns to the Kokiri forest and sees the place is now inhabited by dangerous giant Deku Babas, Octoroks, and red Deku shrubs. Where is everyone? He proceeds to the Lost Woods, follows the same path to the Sacred Meadow until he comes across Mito blocking the path. What the heck? Mito is still a child after 7 years. Mito doesn't recognize Link, but recognizes his Kokirish clothing. He promised Saria he would let no one through here. Link takes out the ocarina and plays Saria's song to prove he is a friend of hers. Mito steps aside and comments that when he looks at Link, he remembers him. Link proceeds to the Sacred Meadow. The Sacred Meadow has gotten even more dangerous with moblins lurking in the maze leading to the temple. Link needs to keep a sharp lookout or a moblin will charge him with a spear. Link hits him from behind with the hookshot. He continues dispatching moblins until he gets to the staircase leading to the path to the temple. However, there is a giant moblin ahead that strikes the ground with a massive club, sending shockwaves to Link. Link needs to hit him 3 times to defeat him and then proceed to the temple. Link arrives at the temple, but Saria is gone. The stump she sat on is vacant. Sheik shows up out of nowhere and tells Link about the nature of time and how different it seems to the individual, which can be cruel but unavoidable. One thing that doesn't change are memories of younger days. To teleport to this temple, Link must learn and play the Minuet of Forest. Sheik backs off and vanishes. Link uses the hookshot to reach the entrance and enters the ancient forest temple. Link is now in the castle-like forest temple with various flora growing all over the place. He senses danger all over this place, but is determined to help Saria before it is too late, and therefore presses on. There are vines on the wall to Link's right to climb to access a small chest carrying a small key. All the temples from now on will require Link to find them throughout the temple for further access to the treasures and the Dungeon Master. He will proceed to the central chamber where 4 multicolored flames are stolen by the Poe sisters, causing the elevator to descend into the floor. The Poe sisters go retreat in different directions. The mission here is to obtain the 4 flames so Link can save Saria. Link proceeds to the door straight ahead and finds himself locked in a room, engaging 2 Stalfos. The moment Link parries, he immediately counterattacks and dispatches them to receive another key. Back in the main room, Link encounters a Door of Time block and plays the Song of Time to reveal a hidden door. Link is now in a courtyard and finds vines on a wall. He needs to clear it of wall Skulltulas and then get to the door. He has to fight a blue bubble in the second room to proceed and gets rewarded the dungeon map. Link is now on a balcony in another courtyard and hookshots over to a switch that will drain the water from the well. Link climbs down the well and ventures the sewer and finds a chest containing a 3rd key. Link gets back to the main room and enters the locked door. He is now inside a 3D maze where he needs to climb in and move large blocks from different positions to access the higher levels. He needs to do this twice. This segment was a lot of fun to figure out when I first played this. Moving that second block into position, he climbs up and reaches the second locked door, dispatching some blue bubbles. He enters the door and is in a twisted corridor that makes no physical sense. He gets to a room with platforms, but a warning that there are creatures that inhabit the ceilings above. So watch for any shadows above. Link enters the 3rd locked door to find himself in a 3-level staircase with a painting of the Poe sister, Joelle. As Link approaches the painting, Joelle disappears, leaving the painting black. He proceeds to the next room, trapped with a Stalfos with a hole in the center. After the first Stalfos is beaten, a platform comes down, filling the hole. 2 more Stalfos left to dispatch. Link defeats them to win his next major item, the legendary Fairy Bow. Now he can shoot arrows the same way he shot Deku seeds from the slingshot as a child. With the bow, he can go back to the room with the paintings of Joelle. This took me a while to figure out initially, but then one day I just tried it and it worked. Link needs to shoot each of the 3 paintings with Joelle to get the Poe sister herself to appear near the torch. Wait for her to become visible and hit her 3 times while avoiding her spinning attack. Link defeats her to obtain the orange flame. And a small key. Link proceeds to the other 3 painting room featuring the blue Poe sister, Beth, and repeats the same actions. Shoot the paintings, engage Beth using the same tactics as Joelle, and defeat her to win the blue flame and a compass. Link goes back the way he came through the twisted corridor to the room with the eye above the door. The twisted room is no longer so, but normal. Hence, Link crosses it, jumps down in a newly oriented platform room and opens the blue gold chest to receive the boss key to access the Master of the Temple. Link drops down to the room below, dispatching the blue bubble and traverses the courtyard to find a room with a giant hand. Remember the Wall Masters from the original game? Link fights the Wall Master until it breaks into 3 little hands. Link dispatches them, or they will grab your face and grow into another large Wall Master, so be careful. A chest appears and Link obtains the 4th key here. Link makes his way back to the door with the twisted corridor and shoots the closed eye to open it and make it twisted again. Link arrives in a room with 4 rotating pillars and an eye switch covered in ice. Link needs to align his shot with the torch and the ice to activate the switch, causing the previous corridor to become twisted. He makes his way through the corridor and the room beyond and drops into a large checkered floor area. This room is dangerous since the ceiling falls down here. Link needs to make his way to the switch and remember the openings in the ceiling to get to the door. This large room has a single painting of the 3rd Poe sister, Amy. Link shoots the painting and then 5 blocks drop from the ceiling. The blocks provide a puzzle with Link to align the picture of Amy with a time limit. Link achieves this and then fights and dispatches her the same way as the previous Poe sisters to win the green flame and unlock the door. Link finds himself back in the central chamber where the final Poe sister awaits him. The purple Poe sister, Meg, splits herself into 4 encircling Link, with Link left to guess at which form is the real one. Note that only the real one spins, opening Link to hit her several times until she's defeated. Link receives the final purple flame, opening the path to the lower level where the boss is. The lower level provides the final puzzle of the Forest Temple, allowing Link to push blocks attached to the walls to rotate the walls, providing him access to the door switches, and then the big boss door. He enters a room with a platform surrounded by paintings. The way out is blocked. Link turns around and sees Ganondorf behind him on horseback. Phantom Ganon, an evil spirit from beyond. Phantom Ganon will enter into the painting and ride further in, and then ride out and exit from one of the other paintings in the room, so Link needs to keep an eye on all the paintings to know where Phantom Ganon will strike from. The moment he exits, Link shoots an arrow at him, causing him to retreat. Repeat this until the horse runs off into the painting, leaving Phantom Ganon alone. He will float around using his staff to cast an electric orb at Link. Link will need to deflect it back at him. until it hits him. And then Link can come in and strike him with the Master Sword when he is down. Link will repeat this until Phantom Ganon is defeated. Ganondorf himself witnessed the fight and applauds Link for his fighting skills, but the real him won't be so easy to beat. Ganondorf opens a portal and banishes the Phantom to the gap between dimensions. I guess Ganondorf don't tolerate no failure like any good villain shouldn't. Link grabs the heart container and enters the portal, but this time it looks like he is encased in a crystal, like the maidens in A Link to the Past. Link appears back in the Chamber of Sages in the Temple of Light, and sees Saria appear from the green metal platform. Saria has awakened as a sage of the forest. She always knew Link would come, and he doesn't have to explain anything to her, and understands that it is his destiny that they cannot live in the same world. Saria will stay in the Sacred Realm as the Forest Sage to help Link, and bestows to him the Forest Medallion, adding her power to Link's. She has been, and ever shall be, his friend. Link appears outside the long-deceased Great Deku Tree. He sees a little sapling. Here we meet the Deku Tree Sprout. Because Link and Saria broke the curse from the Forest Temple, he can grow and flourish, and thanks Link wholeheartedly. He asks Link if he has seen his Kokiri friends he grew up with, and how none of them recognized him as an adult. The reason is the Kokiri never grow up and always remain children. Link wonders why that he was the only one that actually did grow up. Well, the Sprout reveals that Link, in fact, is not a Kokiri, but a Hylian. The Sprout tells Link of his history of how he came to be in the forest. A long time ago, before Hyrule was unified, there was a major war burning through the land. One day, a Hylian mother and her baby boy escaped the fires of war and entered this forbidden forest. The mother, gravely injured, had not long to live. Hence, her only choice was to entrust the child to the Great Deku Tree, the guardian spirit of the forest. The Great Deku Tree, sensing the child to be of profound importance to the destiny of the entire world, took him into the forest. The mother passed away shortly afterwards, leading to the child being raised as a Kokiri, and now the day of destiny has arrived. Link was always bound to leave the forest after all. Link must now break the curses on all the other temples and return peace to Hyrule. With the curse broken, the monsters are vanquished from the Kokiri forest, and all the kids are back outside playing. Link, with his work finished in the forest, considers heading for his next destination, Death Mountain, but he still has Saria on his mind. Between the shocking revelation she is the Sage of the Forest to her world now being the Sacred Realm, Link begins to miss her and wishes for things to be as they had been before in childhood, when they were the same age in the same world. Link, wanting to recapture his youth, returns to the Temple of Time. Link approaches the pedestal of time to find Sheik already there. Sheik reveals that to rescue the other sages, Link will be required to travel through time. To return to Link's childhood, the Master Sword needs to be placed back in the pedestal. Sheik also teaches Link the tune that will teleport him to the Temple of Time, the Prelude of Light. As long as Link holds the Ocarina of Time and the Master Sword, he holds time itself in his hands. Sheik vanishes like usual. Link leaves the temple and resumes his quest to his destination of Goron City. How have the Gorons fared during Ganondorf's reign of terror? Link enters Goron City and finds no one, save for one balled-up rolling Goron. Link tosses a bomb at the Goron to stop him in his tracks. The small Goron is frightened and assumes Link is a servant of Ganondorf. The young Goron identifies himself as Link, hero of the Gorons. What? Another hero named Link? What's going on here? Link talks to the Goron and tells him his name is also Link, and right away, Goron Link knows exactly who he is. The legendary Dodongo Buster, and hero to the Gorons, Link. This young Goron is Darunia's son and is Link's namesake. Young Goron Link loves the name and is a fan of the Hero of Time, but times are dire for the Goron people and he begs Link to help everyone. Darunia went to the Fire Temple to deal with a dragon inside who, if they don't act quickly, he will be eaten by this dragon. Young Goron Link starts to cry, so Link tries to calm him down by asking about the dragon. Link learns that in ages past, an evil dragon named Volvagia inhabited the mountain and used to eat Gorons, making him highly feared. The hero of the Gorons used a mighty hammer and destroyed Volvagia. Link learns that Darunia is a descendant of that hero, and young Link starts to cry again. Link, again, calms him down by asking about the Gorons. He learns that all the Gorons were taken away to the Fire Temple by Ganondorf's servants when Darunia was away. Ganondorf has evidently revived Volvagia and uses the Goron people as an example to all who would oppose him by feeding them all to Volvagia. Sheesh, Ganondorf really is the king of evil. Darunia went alone to the Fire Temple by himself to save everyone and deal with the dragon. Young Goron Link gives Link the heat-resistant tunic, or the red tunic as I always called it. The doors on the lower level are now accessible to Link. Darunia's chamber has an ornamental statue that Link can pull to reveal a secret passage to the Fire Temple. Seems familiar for some reason. Link is now in the Death Mountain crater, and oh boy is it scorching in here. Only Gorons could withstand the heat in here, so Link needs to keep this red tunic on or he would only last a limited time in this environment. Link hookshots over to the bridge and encounters the mysterious Sheik again. He talks about something that grows over time, a true friendship, a feeling in the heart that becomes stronger over time. The passion of friendship will bloom into a righteous power that will show the hero the way. Sheik teaches Link a song dedicated to the power of the heart, the Bolero of Fire. Link tries to approach Sheik, but a flame wall appears between them and he backs away and vanishes like usual. Link proceeds to the Fire Temple, eager to help Darunia, his sworn brother, and rescue the Goron people from a terrifying fate. The stakes are high for Link this time. Will Link rescue all the Gorons before they are fed to the dragon? Link is now in the main chamber, with fiery keys and a staircase ahead. Link enters a room with a jail cell holding a shaking Goron, beside himself with immense fear, begging you not to eat him. Causing Link's resolve to strengthen, he goes up the stairs and proceeds to the door on his left. Darunia is here, and he recognizes Link, but the reunion needs to be cut short as time is running out for his people. He reiterates what his son said earlier, and tasks Link with saving his people while he deals with the dragon. If they don't act quick, the dragon can escape and lay waste to all of Hyrule. Darunia enters the boss chamber without the legendary hammer. Link hops across platforms to reach the first Goron cell and presses the switch to unlock it. The Goron reveals a tip for saving him by telling Link about the pillar directly above the room. The Goron leaves and Link receives a small key. Each Goron captive has a small key chest in his cell, so Link must find them all if he is to complete this temple. He uses the key to proceed further and finds himself in a large room with a bridge and moving platforms. His left and right sides each have cells. Link bombs the wall on the right to uncover a cell room and frees the second Goron. Receives the second key. Link proceeds to the opposite side to enter a room and free the third Goron and receive the third key. If you want a Gold Skull Tua and a few member berries, play the Song of Time and go into the upper room where Link will encounter the spinning floor tiles. Remember them? And of course, the like. Do you remember them as well? Link continues deeper in the temple, unlocking the door finds himself sliding down a narrow wooden plank into a room with a caged chamber containing a flaming geyser. Link scales the mesh cage, reaching the roof. He lands on the pillar with the large stone cube and pushes it atop the geyser. Link jumps on top of the block to right above the ceiling. Link finds himself in a room where he needs to move a block and activate a crystal switch to remove the flame obstructing a climbing cage wall for a limited time. Link makes it in time and is able to climb to the door leading to a massive maze-like room with rolling boulders. Link evades the boulders and finds the 4th and 5th Goron captives on different sides of the maze, freeing them and earning their respective keys. Link finds a locked door and finds himself in a room with very narrow paths. Don't fall. Link, not sure where he is, decides to shoot the eye switch leading to a cage room with a chest holding the dungeon map. Link, confident, proceeds further into a lava room, traversing a narrow L-shaped path, and jumps on a cage platform with a firewall pursuing him. He makes his way to the door on the other side and finds himself back in the maze room, but on upper platforms. One platform has a major flaw in the floor, so Link dispatches the torch slugs and blows up the floor, revealing a lower passage. He climbs down and rescues the 6th Goron. He makes his way back up to the maze platforms and finds a platform with a floor switch. Link steps on it to free the 7th Goron. Back in the flame wall room, Link now proceeds to the locked door to enter the large, C-shaped invisible firewall maze. Link needs to navigate this room, but there's a forest of pillars that create firewalls when Link gets too close. Link makes his way through the maze, realizing he is directly above the room he encountered Darunia. He navigates toward the next locked door and finds himself on the other side of the room. Link presses the switch to lower the firewall. Bombs a fake door to reveal the entrance to the mini-boss. The Flare Dancer. Link hits the Flare Dancer with a bomb and then it reverts to its mini form before it enters the flames and becomes big again. Link needs to repeat this tactic until the Flare Dancer has taken its final step. The platform with the flame will take Link to the upper level. Link needs to climb and hit a crystal switch to lower the flame, blocking the climbing mesh wall again. Link is now in a room with a switch and narrow staircase leading to a guarded treasure. The switch lowers the flame guard. And Link manages to navigate the steps carefully and obtain the dungeon treasure. The Megaton Hammer. Link now tests this hammer on a small platform with the Fire Temple's symbol on it, causing him to fall through the floor. He uses it on the statues to unblock the door. Link dispatched the fire case, hits the small platform, opening up the lower level. He uses a crate to hold down the floor switch so he can get through. He hits another platform and lands back in the firewall maze near a rusted switch. This hammer has sure turned out to be quite useful. The switch unlocks a room right above the cage that he passed earlier. He sees a Door of Time cube and plays the song to change location. He ends up hitting the rusted switch to free the 8th Goron and collect his key. He tells Link there is a statue hiding a door near the temple entrance. Link jumps on the large pillar and hits it with the hammer, dropping him all the way down to the room with the boss door. Link has to make his way to the statue mentioned earlier and use the hammer on it to enter another room filled with fire keys and torch slugs to dispatch. The next room has spinning tiles and a like, so Link needs to be careful since the like can eat his shield and other equipment. Next room is another rematch with the Flare Dancer, so Link simply repeats his same tactics and beats him one last time. Link uses the hammer and frees the 9th and final Goron captive and begs Link to help Darunia. Link this time gets the boss key as the final reward for helping the Gorons. Link, nervous but ready, steps forward, jumps the pillar, and enters the boss room. Link steps on a platform island with lava holes. Subterranean lava dragon Volvagia erupts from one of them and begins the battle. Volvagia goes into one of the holes, and this boss battle becomes a game of whack-a-mole for Link, as he has to be ready for which hole the dragon will pop his head out in. If you don't act quickly, Volvagia will breathe fire on you. Link will need to smash him with the hammer to stun him and then hit him again to damage him, and he will retreat. Volvagia will leave the hole and will either attempt to chase Link, allowing Link to fend him off with arrows, or he will go to the roof and try to drop boulders on him. The next time Volvagia appears will be trickier since the eruption happens twice. Link must repeat hitting Volvagia with the hammer until the Guardian of the Mountain is soundly defeated. Link does the usual and grabs the heart container and enters the portal to the Temple of Light. Meanwhile, in Kakariko Village, the guy on the roof felt a violent tremor and looks up to see Death Mountain erupting, sucking out the darkness and the evil halo, returning to how it looked before, blue skies and all. Link, materializing in the Chamber of Sages, sees Darunia emerge as a sage. He thanks Link from the bottom of his Goron heart on behalf of the entire Goron race. Link turns out to be a real man after all. Darunia reveals he is truly the Sage of Fire and finds it funny, but determines this is what they call destiny. Nothing has made Darunia happier than to assist Link in sealing the evil here. Darunia bestows upon Link a medallion. The Medallion of Fire, adding Darunia's strength to Link's. Darunia has declared Link a true brother. Link is transported back outside, and with the hammer, now has the means to destroy the boulders that leads to another fairy fountain in the crater. Link summons the Great Fairy of Wisdom and receives an enhancement of his magic power. Doubling the meter. The fairy returns to the fountain and Link departs and begins his next mission. Link, fearful of what Ganondorf's designs have done to Hyrule, becomes gravely concerned over the fate of the Zoran people and his betrothed, Princess Ruto, these past 7 years. Link returns to Zora's River, where he feels incredibly cold winds coming from the direction of Zora's domain. Link, already having a bad feeling about this, proceeds further by making use of the magic bean he planted as a child, with the magic flying plant platform taking him very close to the Zora's waterfall. Link arrives in Zora's domain to find it completely frozen over. Oh no! Where are all the Zoras? Link goes up to King Zora's chamber to find him encased in red ice. Link proceeds to Zora's fountain to investigate the source of this cold. Lord Jabu Jabu is nowhere to be found this time, but in his place is an ice path that leads to Link jumping from ice platform to ice platform until he reaches a cave that is echoing with evil. Link is now in the Ice Cavern, an icy cold dungeon with stalactites that fall as Link explores this mysterious place. Link encounters freezers, blowing cold winds that could freeze Link's body and soul. He dispatches them to unlock the passage deeper in the cavern. Next room, Link needs to collect the 5 silver rupees while avoiding the rotating ice blade to open up another passage. He enters another room with upper ice platforms and enemies about, including more freezers and ice keys who will freeze Link on single contact. Link comes across blue fire unnaturally occurring in this cavern and realizes he can bottle some up. Perhaps this blue fire can melt the red ice that is obstructing the rest of the cave. Link successfully does so, melting the passageways that lead to a more accessible blue fire fountain and one that takes him further in. The last puzzle Link needs to solve here is obtaining the 5 silver rupees in a large room with Link moving sliding platforms on ice to obtain them. Link unlocks the way forward and finds himself in the boss chamber facing a white Wolfos. Link easily dispatches the white Wolfos and receives a legendary treasure. The Iron Boots. While not allowing him to run, it will allow him to walk underwater, exploring the various sea floors throughout Hyrule. Sheik now appears and meets Link again. He breaks the news that this Arctic cold is all that Zora's found is right now, and the Zora themselves are now sealed under this thick ice sheet. Messed up. Sheik managed to rescue the Zora princess from under the ice, but she departed to the water temple to deal with the source of the Arctic curse. If the monster in the water temple is not dealt with, the ice here will never melt. If Link has the courage to confront the danger and save the Zora people, Sheik will teach him the melody that leads to the temple. Time passes. People move like a river's flow. It never ends. A childish mind turns to noble ambition. Young love becomes deep affection. The clear water's surface reflects growth. For Link to reflect upon himself, Link learns the Serenade of Water. Sheik departs before Link can find out who he is. Link uses the boots to exit the room by dropping through an ice hole underwater. Link makes sure to have another bottle of blue flame before he departs for Zora's domain, because in Zora's domain, he can use that flame to thaw out King Zora and as a result receives the blue tunic as a reward, allowing Link to remain underwater without fear of drowning. Link now proceeds to Lake Hylia. Lake Hylia has seen better days as the majority of the lake has dried up despite the constant rain. It looks like the monster in the water temple is causing even more harm to Hyrule than we initially thought. Link fits on the blue tunic and the iron boots, landing next to the barred entrance to the temple. Link can use the hook shot underwater and it hits the crystal switch above the door, opening the way. Link now enters the fun yet frustrating water temple. The first thing Link needs to do as he's now inside the temple is to take off his iron boots to reach the surface. This is one of the annoying things about this temple, is that in order to take off the iron boots, the player will need to pause the game and unequip the boots and then re-equip them again when they're needed again, messing with the game's pacing. Link is in a large central chamber made up of many levels or floors and will need to put the boots back on to sink to the bottom. Link finds an entrance, flanked by torches, and trudges inside. He finds Princess Ruto all grown up. She recognizes him right away and reminds him that he is still engaged to her, taking him aback. That's really funny. She never forgot the vows they made to each other and calls him a terrible man for keeping her waiting these long 7 years. She reiterates what Sheik told Link in the Ice Cavern, and her mission now is to save all the Zoras in Zora's domain. She, as Link's future wife, demands he help her destroy the evil monster in the temple. I am curious who Link should be more afraid of, her or the evil monster. Link learns from her that there are 3 places where you can change the water level in the temple, with Ruto leading the way up and out of sight. She vanishes, but Link now has a mission and it's time to move upwards. Link takes off the iron boots and gets to the top surface and spots the Triforce insignia on the wall. Therefore, Link must play Zelda's Lullaby to lower the water level all the way down. One thing I did not know I could do here was shoot the fire at the torches to light them, so I was stuck here for a while. Link lights them to unlock the door. Inside there are 3 shell blades for Link to fight. Best way is for him to shoot an arrow when they open up. Link dispatches them all and receives his first small key. Link explores the bottom level of the temple and finds a movable block and pushes it all the way, revealing a sinkable passage. Link is in a room that he can't cross, so he hits the crystal switch to cause a water geyser to rise up, and Link can use that to hop on to cross the gap and enter the door. The next room, Link drops into the pool, hits the switch in the statue's mouth, opening a gate, and has to quickly use the hookshot to grapple the spot near the gate. Link gets through in time and swims to the surface to obtain his second key. Link goes back to the main room and unlocks the door to the tower. He uses the hookshot to spring up to the upper level, where he finds another place to change the water level. Link plays Zelda's Lullaby again, as the water level rises, bringing the water up halfway in the temple and opening the passage below. I honestly did not put 2 and 2 together right away and got stuck for a while searching for that particular key. One winter I tried to walk a half a mile to the drugstore to see if Ocarina of Time guide was still on the magazine rack there, like it was the weekend before. To my disappointment, it was not, and I had to walk back in the freezing snow empty-handed, and this was like 15-inch high snow. Link sinks down the passage and finds a switch that opens a gate, bringing enemies into the room. He dispatches them all with the hookshot, and it unlocks another gate above, where Link surfaces and receives his third key. Link makes his way back up the water surface of the tower and proceeds outside. The water being mid-level allows Link to go back to the corridor where he first found Ruto and access the room directly above. The wall is weak, so Link will need to use a bomb to open it up, and he receives his 4th key. Link returns to the main room and enters the next locked door. A blue Tektite drops down and engages Link. He steps on the water geyser and hits the switch to raise him to the top level. He leaves the room and finds the 3rd location to raise the water level, raising it to its highest. Link is able to enter this level's locked door and finds himself in a room with moving platforms along a waterfall. Grappling points for the hookshot are there for Link to access them to get to the top of the waterfall to another locked door. Link needs to navigate the next room with a crystal switch in the middle that raises the statues and water level in the room, that either obstructs him or allows him to access the door to the mini-boss. Link needs to make sure he dispatches the like before he uses the hookshot so he can pass the spikes safely. Link has entered the Room of Illusions with a misty, shallow pond expanding far into the horizon and a tree in the center. He walks around towards the door at the end to find it locked. Link turns back and sees a dark figure resembling him standing by a tree. Holy crap, Dark Link has returned to the franchise. Remember him as the final boss from Adventure of Link? You know what this means, right? This will be a tough fight. Dark Link will easily counter Link's sword attacks and will counter Link's stab attack by jumping onto his sword, pinning him in place. There are many ways to beat him. The method I used when I first played this was to use the Megaton Hammer, since Dark Link cannot block or mimic the attack. Link defeats Dark Link and will fall into the floor the same way he does in Zelda 2. The room will lose its illusionary look and Link will be able to go into the next room. Link gets rewarded with the long shot, an improved version of the hook shot that can shoot twice as long, reaching farther targets. Behind the chest, I missed this the first time, there is a Door of Time insignia on the floor. Play this Song of Time to reveal a passage. Link drops down and finds himself in a raging water cavern where he needs to swim in this twisting corridor while avoiding vortexes, or he'll have to start over again. He will need to make his way to a platform to open the gate with the eye switch and then hookshot over to the small chest where he receives another key. With the long shot, there are a couple more rooms to explore, requiring Link to change the water levels twice. The first place is on the second level, an ice switch with a gate to a faraway hookshot target. Link will need to be fast to get past the gate in time. Link pushes another large block and finds another small key. Link raises the water level one last time and sinks down to a passage where he needs to use the long shot to get past a barrier of spikes. He is now in a room with flowing waterways, rolling boulders, vortexes, and tektites. I usually swim past and sometimes take the tektites out. Now he is in a room with stingers emerging from the pool to attack Link. He dispatches them and spots a weak wall and a fake wall on the other side and bombs them both, revealing a passage with a moving block. Link also spots a floor switch underwater and figures he needs to push the block onto it. Doing so raises the water level to a room where Link will need to traverse it by stepping on a switch and jumping across 3 water pillars to the door. Link will be in a narrow corridor where those rolling boulders came from earlier. First time playing, I did not know this and went the wrong way, leading back into the earlier room, having to traverse all over again. Link will need to move towards where the boulders are coming from, sink down into another passage, and make his way to a locked door. He finally makes it to the boss chest to get the boss key. Link makes his way back to the central tower and uses the long shot to grapple over to the statue. Link makes his way to the boss door and enters it. The boss room has 4 pillars along a central pool. Giant aquatic amoeba Morpha, the source of the curse of Zoras found in Lake Hylia, has engaged Link in battle. An amoeba in the pool, Morpha can create tentacles from the water and grab Link if he is not careful, squeezing the life out of him and throwing him towards the spikes. Link needs to use the opportunity to grapple Morpha with the long shot to bring him over so Link can hit him with the sword until Morpha is no more. Link grabs the heart container and enters the portal. Link is back in the Chamber of Sages, but this time Rudo emerges from the Water Temple crest. She expected no less from him, the man she chose as her husband. Zora's domain and its people will eventually return to their original state. It's too bad we didn't get to see the change right away in the game since it remains frozen in this adult time. She wants to grant eternal love as a reward, taking Link aback, but she cannot with these trying times. She needs to guard the Water Temple as the Sage of Water and reveals to Link that Princess Zelda is indeed alive. In the name of peace and justice, she bestows upon Link the Water Medallion. Her last message is to thank Sheik on her behalf. As a result of Link's actions, we see Lake Hylia's water rising, with Sheik on the island. Link teleports and sees him. Sheik reiterates Link and Rudo's accomplishment in restoring Lake Hylia. They look on at his accomplishment with Sheik vanishing behind him. Link goes up to a pedestal that reads, "Shoot for the morning light." Since it is already morning, Link shoots an arrow towards the sun, and an arrow encased in red will appear on a small island. Link swims out and obtains the fire arrows. I did not get these right away since I did not originally understand the riddle as a kid, but realized I needed them in a later dungeon if I wanted to progress further. After this, I usually go to Kakariko village, but when I first played this, I actually went to Gerudo Valley and did that mission first. I guess when I first played this, I really wanted to check out that part of Hyrule since it was inaccessible until now. Link, restoring the lands of the Zoras, now sets forth to begin his next mission, to Kakariko village. Link arrives in Kakariko village to find it on fire with smoke everywhere. Holy crap. He spots Sheik right next to the well. He tells Link to get back. An invisible demon emerges from the well and attacks Sheik, picking him up and throwing him. The demon rushes towards Link as Link takes a defensive stance, but he gets knocked out as a result. Link comes to. With Sheik telling Link that an evil shadow spirit has been released. We learn Impa is alive and the leader of Kakariko village. She sealed the evil shadow spirit in the bottom of the well. The evil spirit got so strong that the seal of the well broke and escaped into the world. Sheik believes Impa has gone back to the Shadow Temple to seal it again, but will be in danger without any help. He tells Link that Impa is one of the 6 sages and that he must destroy the evil shadow and save her at all costs. She goes ahead and teaches Link the melody that is the only means of accessing the entrance of the Shadow Temple. The melody that will draw him into the infinite darkness that absorbs even time itself. The Nocturne of Shadow. Sheik vanishes like usual, but promises to help the villagers after Link departs. Link recalls learning the Song of Storms and how it messed with the windmill in the phonogram guy's story about a mean kid. Link thinks the mean kid might be referring to himself, and recalls that the bottom of the well was not sealed then, so he might be able to explore it and find something that may be of help. He decides to leave this time and go back to the Temple of Time. He enters the pedestal of time and places the Master Sword on it. And vanishes from this time. Link emerges as a child, back in time, leaves the Temple of Time and is happy to see the Hyrule Marketplace. He realizes now that his mission is ever more important now that he's been to the future and knows what he is fighting for. Link enters Kakariko village and arrives at the windmill. He plays the Song of Storms, causing the windmill to go bonkers. causing the water in the well to drain. Link climbs down the well, accessing another mini dungeon. The bottom of the well. Link, again as a child, feels a creepy vibe as he hears whisperings below the earth and proceeds through a crawl hole. He climbs down to a corridor with a skultula and a wall with a skeleton. Navi can hear the spirits saying, "Look for the Eye of Truth." Link, figuring the wall may be an illusion, walks through and finds himself in the main room, the shape of a square donut. Link proceeds down the corridor until he is next to a monstrous statue with water spouting from its gaping mouth while standing on the Triforce insignia. He plays Zelda's lullaby once again to drain the water. Link goes back to where he first entered, but this time the pool is empty, allowing him to jump down and access the crawl hole. Link goes into a room and finds a bunch of arms raised in a circular formation. Link goes near one for the arm to grab Link's face, triggering a battle with Dead Hand. Dead Hand will slowly try to get to Link, but Link ends up freeing himself and does damage when Dead Hand's head is down. Dead Hand will retreat back underground. Link will need to let the arm grab him again for Dead Hand to resurface. Once again, Link repeating his attacks on the head until Dead Hand is dead. A large chest appears. Link opens it and receives the Lens of Truth, allowing him to use it to spot fake walls or invisible objects or even invisible enemies. His objective here is complete. Link needs to go back to the Temple of Time and draw the Master Sword out once again. Link emerges as an adult. In order for Link to get to the entrance of the Shadow Temple, Link will need to play the Nocturne of Shadow and teleport away. He has now landed inside the fenced-in ledge near the royal family tomb in the graveyard. Link goes towards the entrance, steps on the platform, and to light all these torches around him, he uses Din's fire. The door raises, and Link enters the Shadow Temple. The Shadow Temple is similar in aesthetic to the bottom of the well, with a creepy atmosphere that makes Link apprehensive. The uniqueness of this temple is to have the player use the lens and be vigilant of any invisible obstacles, hazards, and traps, while acquiring some new footwear early on. Link inside the temple is initially confronted by a deep pit and uses the long shot to spring across. A voice tells him the shadow will only yield to the eye of truth, so Link uses the lens to get past this dungeon's illusionary nature. Link cannot reach the gate with what he has so far, so he looks for any secret passages with the lens. He enters one and proceeds through. Link learns the Shadow Temple has gathered the bloody history of greed and hatred in Hyrule. The voices continue to proclaim more oddities as he proceeds back and continues to find fake passages that lead him to a room with another dead hand. Link follows the same pattern as before, allowing the hands to grab him to lure the head out so he can attack it until it's defeated. Link wins the means of proceeding in this dungeon. The hover boots. With these, Link can walk briefly across pits, but these boots have no traction. He arrives back at the room he initially entered and uses the lenses to rotate the statues so that the beak is facing the true skull. The gate opens and Link uses the hover boots to hover his way across. Link proceeds deeper in the temple to find a Beamos and 3 passages. He goes into the left room and needs to collect 5 silver rupees while evading a rotating scythe. Getting them all will open a nearby cell with a chest holding a small key. Link bombs the remaining door in front of the Beamos and continues deeper into the temple. He encounters guillotine obstacles in the corridor, so the French have some influence here. He enters a larger cavern, and I remember ceiling masters being a pain here and had to make sure never to stay in one position too long, always checking shadow underneath so I can have time to dodge. If those things grab you, they'll take you all the way back to the beginning of the temple. Link dispatches a Stalfos on a platform and maneuvers past falling and rising platforms, and a narrow bridge to get to another platform with another 5 silver rupee puzzle. I always have the hover boots off because Link could slip off the platform or run into enemies. Completing the puzzle will open the grating to the next room. This spiky falling trap room looks like something that belongs in a Super Mario game, but is a unique room with an interesting solution. The sign says that a stone umbrella is needed to pass, so Link ends up using the Lens of True to spot a stone block in a hidden cubby. He needs to pull it out and push it and pull it against all the way under the spikes to get past. He climbs the block to get to the upper part of this room and finds a switch, dropping a chest with a small key. Link makes his way back to the cavern and uses the lens to spot invisible platforms that will help him reach the locked door. Another room, another 5 rupee puzzle. Kind of makes me wonder if the developers were out of ideas at this point. But it does make decent usage of the lens to put invisible hazards and solutions to obtain these silver rupees. It also teaches the player that where Link uses the long shot, it's important to obtaining the rupees. Link completes it to unlock a door to a room with a giant skull. Link throws a bomb inside the top opening of the skull to reveal another small key. Link, with this key, unlocks the door and is in a wind corridor with fans trying to blow him away. It took me a while to figure out to put on the iron boots, so he can walk through this. Link drops down to a fan room that will blow him off if he's not careful, while a trick eye switch shoots flames at him. Link enters the room with a couple of redeads and a message from the spirits. A message to wear the sacred feet and let the wind guide them to a hidden path. Link, outside, uses the hover boots and allows the fan to blow him inside a hidden recess with a door. Link is now in a room with what looks like a wooden ship docked. Link makes his way on and plays Zelda's Lullaby to activate it. boat starts to move forward, and 2 Stalfos swoop down, requiring Link to slay them quickly. Link needs to get off the boat before it hits the end of the path, or it will drop into the abyss, taking Link with it. Link is now in the invisible maze, where there are invisible walls and a door in each corner, but occupied by floor masters. The south room has an invisible floor master, so Link needs to use the lens to assist and dispatch them to get a small key. The north room has 2 wooden spike traps that are slowly converging to crush and skewer Link, so he uses Din's fire to burn it to ashes. He approaches the ornamental chest and gets the Shadow Temple boss key. Link goes back outside where the boat fell and notices there's no way across. This one stumped me for a while since there were no hidden platforms or any means to grapple across with the long shot. One day I saw bomb flowers next to a statue, and I didn't know this at the time, but just decided to shoot the bomb flowers with an arrow, and to my surprise it set them off and triggers a cutscene with the statue falling over, creating a bridge for Link to the locked door. Link proceeds to the door and is inside a room with invisible platforms. The hover boots should make this a non-issue, and Link has finally entered the boss room. Link sees a pit, takes a leap of faith, and jumps down. He lands on a giant bongo. The Phantom Shadow Beast, Bongo Bongo. I usually keep the hover boots on so Link does not bounce around every time Bongo Bongo hits the surface. His head becomes invisible with only his 2 hands in sight, so Link needs to hit them with the arrows to make the head visible. Bongo Bongo charges at Link, who uses the opportunity to shoot the eye, close enough so he can engage Bongo Bongo with the Master Sword. The hands will try to attack Link in many various ways, so he needs to avoid them by ducking or rolling. Keep repeating the attacks on Bongo Bongo's hands and head to defeat him once and for all, giving his final performance. Link grabs the heart container and heads for the blue portal. Link appears once again in the Chamber of Sages facing the purple shadow token. Impa emerges, standing tall, and greets him, still calling him the boy with Zelda's ocarina. She once again introduces herself and gives the revelation that she is the sage who guards the Shadow Temple. She talks of her clan, the Sheikah, have served the royalty of Hyrule as attendants for many generations. However, she recounts 7 years ago when Ganondorf suddenly attacked, and Hyrule Castle surrendered after a very short time. Ganondorf attacked because he sought to acquire the Ocarina of Time, hence why Impa was duty-bound to take Zelda away and out of his reach. She acknowledges Link as no longer the wee lad, but now as a fine hero and has earned her respect. Impa assures Link the princess is safe now and they will meet face to face soon, where she will explain everything. Impa bestows upon Link the Shadow Medallion. Adding her power to his. Link appears outside the temple and realizes he has only one more sage to awaken, but he has no idea who it is and has not even entered the land it is situated in. Link, summoning up all his courage, departs to Hyrule Field summons Epona, and makes his way for the western desert itself, Gerudo Valley. This concludes part 2 of my Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time retrospective. How will Link fare in territory that Link himself is unfamiliar with in Hyrule? What about this new temple? Will he have to team up with his younger self in order to complete it? How will the final battle with Ganondorf go down? And most importantly, where is Princess Zelda, and can Hyrule be saved after all? What is Nerdporial's take on Ocarina of Time overall? Did he like it? Did he dislike it? And why does he feel very strongly about this game? Join us as we reach the end of this epic retrospective. Everybody, take care, stay Nerdporial, may the wings of Nerdporials carry you to the final part of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time retrospective. Take care.